All right, we're now joined by Jeff Gordon, driver of the number 24 Exalta Chevrolet. Jeff, we got an extra day here, new tire. How'd it go for you out there?
Pretty good. Thought the track had good grip when we first started, and lost a little bit, probably due to track temp there towards the end of the day. Certainly hoping to lay some rubber down, but I'm not so sure that this tire is going to do that. But other than just being real tight, I thought the tire, reacted pretty similar to what we've dealt with in the past year.
All right, we'll open up for questions. If you raise your hand, we'll get a wireless mic to you and state your name and affiliation. We'll start with Stan.
Stan Creekmore with RPM tonight. Jeff, in everything you did today, is any of it a direction for the rest of the weekend, or was this really all testing, as it's called today?
No, everything we did today was in direction for this weekend. I mean, to me, this is just an extension of our race weekend, but we have data on the car, data acquisition to gather more detailed information. In some ways, we wish we had this every weekend, not necessarily an extra day at the track, but data acquisition to gather that data, and then the engineers will sort through that overnight and come up with what we think we're going to need to do for the weekend. Of course, it's going to be cool on Sunday, so that's going to change things quite a bit in the grip level and the balance. But to me, I mean, testing is always trying to find something to make the car go faster, and not everything can relate to every other track. And this track being as smooth as it is and sort of a repave, it still kind of acts like a repave, even though it has lost a little bit of grip. The tire, kind of makes it that too, because it's a pretty hard tire, that we're basically sitting on, and I'm not so sure that anything else really applies to other tracks. So we're all about what's happening this weekend.
Andrea?
Jeff, Andrea Pelkey, ESPN. What do you think your team's performance thus far in the chase says about you and your team?
It's just, we don't ever quit. I think it shows that we've made improvements performance-wise. We've gotten a lot better, not just since the chase started, but prior to the chase, we were performing better, which, to me is what helped us get into a position to even have a shot at being in it. We had sporadic good performances earlier in the year, but for the most part, we just didn't have the speed. And that has really come together, in the last 6 weeks, and I'm really proud of them for that, because we've been going to the racetrack having a lot of fun. We've been leading laps and running up front, and at times in position to win races, and there's nothing better than doing that, and couldn't happen at a better time than right now.
We'll go to Randy and then Kenny.
Jeff, Randy Kovitz, Kansas City Star. In layman's terms, what does this zone tread mean? I mean, how do you feel the difference in these tires here now?
Unless you ABA the tire that we had here before against this tire and then back to the other tire, it's really hard to say what the gain is. I really give Goodyear a lot of credit for bringing this tire here and trying to give us something to lean on these smooth racetracks like this, where they have to build a very durable tire. We built a lot of shoulder heat in the tire because of the high speeds. So when we say durable, we mainly mean really rock hard. and so to put some softer compound in there to try to give the car a little bit more forgiveness and grip. I love it. It worked really well at Atlanta. That's the first time we ever raced this, and I really liked it there. I'm not seeing anything that is odd or off today, other than just really tight, and we are seeing some tire wear, which is a good thing, and that's what Goodyear likes to see, to dissipate that heat, is to see a little wear, and we'll monitor that throughout the weekend. But if we saw more rubber being laid down the track, then typically you'd say, okay, that'll get better as the weekend goes on. But this is one of those tires that we've seen this year where it just doesn't lay much rubber.
Kenny? and
Kenny
Jeff.
Bruce with NASCAR.com. Jeff, I guess along those same lines, is it a better tire in your opinion, or is it too early to say until you get into the race?
I would right now I would say it's a better tire. Yeah, I mean I don't think any of us like the box that Goodyear's put in when we come to a newly surfaced track and have to put a rock hard tire on there for durability. It's not because that's the best performance tire. It's because they have to play it safe because of the high heat and the speeds that we're running. So right now what I'm feeling, it feels good, but it concerns me that we're just the 24 car, that we're as tight as we are, we can't seem to get it fixed. That makes it tough to maneuver through traffic and tough to get the speed out of the car that we want to have. So we're just trying to find more tools to get the front to hook up. It seems like unhooking the back doesn't seem to be the answer, and so right now it's probably too early to really judge the tire, but everything I'm seeing I'm liking. I'm not disappointed with it in any way.
Go to Jeff, Bob, and then Claire.
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. I understand what you're saying about unless you compare the tires directly, you might not be able to tell the difference, but with everything that goes into the setup of the car and everything, is the tire a major change or a
No.
minor change?
I think it's a very minor change.
Bob Parker, Sporting News. James Hilton actually is retiring after his race tomorrow, and I think your rookie year was kind of the last year he was running some cup races. I was curious if did you ever run into him? I mean, he was 59.
I hope I never ran into him.
Well, I meant just not literally with the car, but I was curious if you back then if you saw him and you're like, man, he's racing at 59. I hope I'm racing at 59, and now he's 79 and he's still racing.
Well, I admire anybody that's out on the track, whether they're at full speed or whatever minimal speed is. I think it says a lot about somebody that wants to go out there and has the passion and desire to do that, and especially now working with AARP, I have an even greater appreciation for folks that do that. So. I don't have any real stories racing with James other than he just seems like he's been around forever, and every time I turn on a race, James Hilton is out there, and that's pretty cool. I don't think I'll be doing it till I'm 50, so no. But I said that I wouldn't be doing it when I'm 40, and here I am at 42, so you never know.
Claire?
Claire Belang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Matt Kenseth said he wishes they would never change the tire. You said you like it. With this test today, and some of the teams are using the cars that they tested today, some aren't. But the thing is, I wonder how everybody adapts to it will make a difference in the race this weekend.
Well, of course, whoever won the race the last time, they're not going to want anything to change. Things went well for them, and they would like to come back with everything being the same, especially when the championship's on the line. For us, even though we had a just not a very good weekend, but it wasn't because we didn't have speed or I didn't like the tire. I thought we actually had a pretty good race car. We got caught on pit road when the caution came out, and we crashed in qualifying and had to come from the back. So, we were going to be in the top 10. So I wasn't asking for a big tire change or anything, but I always am asking Goodyear to find ways on this type of tire. It's the Michigan here, any newly paved racetrack. One of the things I struggle with the most on those types of tracks is there's just very little forgiveness. It just seems like you can get to the peak of the performance of the tire, but it's like a razor's edge, and you get to it and then you can jump right over it very quickly, and you lose the front or the back, and that's what happened to me last time here qualifying. It's just very much of a surprise, and so I applaud Goodyear anytime that they're going to try to add something to that tire to give it a little bit more forgiveness, because I don't think I'm the only one making those comments, and that's what I see them attempting to do, and they wouldn't have done it if they didn't feel confident in it. You know, I know that there was limited testing that they did, and it was in July, but to my knowledge, this is sort of the first day that we've had this whole combination of both left sides and right sides on the car, and other than a little bit of extra wear, which is typical that you see on, especially after the rain and everything, I would say that you know, it's a positive, not a negative.
And real quickly for the layman, what forgiveness in a tire means in a race. You're talking about being on the razor's edge, but racing with the forgiveness.
Yeah, it's just, you know, when the car slides around, that you can recover from it. You can just ease out of the throttle and the car straightens up, and then you don't you know, just lose the back of the car like that, or even the front of the car where you can feel where you're getting to the edge of the grip, and you know when you're about to go over it. And if you go over it, you can recover quickly and get the car to cut with the front. Same thing with the rear. And when the tire is real hard, it needs temperature. But even when you get it to that temperature and you load it up, it just only has so much grip, you know, because it's just harder. And then it doesn't wear, so it lasts forever. That's why you see so many two-tire stops, you know, where guys want track position instead of new tires, and I think, you know, most of us would agree that the best races that we see are tracks where there's fall off, there's 4 tire changes. Yeah, it's nice to have somebody try to chance it and maybe take right sides, and but you know, you want to see passing, and the way you do that is by having fall off in the tire, in the abrasiveness of the track, and multiple grooves, and you know, I think that's what they're at least trying to achieve with this tire.
Go to Brant and Andrea.
Brant James from ESPN.com. Knowing that it's still early in the chase, do you run through in your mind what you think, what sort of things are going to happen for you to be able to reel in that group in front of you?
You know, I think all we can do is our best to get the best out of our car and our team. We can't control what our competitors do. We can only control what we do, and to me, it's just living up to our full potential, and you know, then just kind of let the chips fall the way they're supposed to, you know, or the way they will, and you know, we can't play those scenarios out in our mind, because you just don't know how that's going to happen. You know, you just go out and race as hard as you can, and I'm very proud of the effort that we've put out. I made a mistake at New Hampshire that cost us. Other than that, we've gained on everybody in the chase except for the top 3 guys, and those guys have been performing very, very well. If they don't, you know, have some issues or you know, have a really bad day, then nobody's going to catch them. And we're not wishing that upon them. It's just, you know, we just got to go out and do our jobs and hope that, you know, the tracks, like I look at this as one of our weaker tracks. If we can perform well here, I think it really puts us in great position to go gain some points at a few other tracks. And that's what we're looking at doing right now. We're way ahead of the game right now. You know, we were 4 weeks ago not in it. Now we're in it, and we're up to 5th, you know, or tied for 4th. So we're pleased with where we're at. We're not going to complain about being where we're at all.
Jeff, I just want to follow up on something you said earlier about you're having fun. How much
Yeah.
easier is it to come to the racetrack when that's going on rather than the struggles from the past?
Yeah, I mean, you know, this has been a very frustrating year for us. You know, we've tested ourselves, me personally, Alan, you know, all the engineers, all the guys, the pit crew, everybody on this team, because we've gone to racetracks where we felt like we should have performed, and we didn't. We've gone to racetracks where we were performing and made mistakes, or had failures, and that tests your patience, it tests your frustration in the car, off the track, your relationship with the people on the team, and when you can fight through that, it makes you stronger. And we thought we fought through enough last year, but we actually, I think, needed a little bit more of that, and it's been a struggle. So knowing what struggles we've been through, to have things going well, it is exciting, because we can appreciate it so much more because we know what those tough times were really like.
Jeff Scott Trailer, Race Boys Broadcasting Network, Sports Radio 810. I want to talk a little bit about Kick It for Cancer. I know that you went to Knoxville this year. By the way, was that your first trip to the Dingus? Just curious.
To Dingus, I think it was my first trip to Dingus.
Good time there, I'm
That
sure.
was a very good time.
The sprint car fans have been really supportive of Kick It for Cancer. We had a Kick It for Cancer game at Lucas Oil Speedway last weekend
Yeah.
with the Lucas Oil Sprint Car Series. Downpoured, 5 teams showed up for it. Knoxville raised a lot of money. Are you surprised at the support the sprint car community? I mean, they're a little different breed of cat than everybody else. Let's be fair. I mean,
Right.
they're really a tight-knit family. Talk about Kick It for Cancer and the sprint car community and how they've supported you.
They've been extremely supportive. I am and I'm not surprised. You know, they are just a great group of racers that work very hard, and you know, we have supported a team, and I think that they just appreciate, you know, our involvement in looking at the world of outlaws and sprint cars and that fan base as you know, a group of people that we wanted to be involved with and put on these kickball tournaments, and Kendra Jacobs and you know, so many, Shane Stewart, so many people that have the promoters at all these tracks, they've just gotten behind it. So yeah, in that sense, I am surprised. I didn't expect it to take off the way it has. And they have been tremendous to bring more awareness to pediatric cancer through the Kick It tournaments. And we've raised a tremendous amount of money, as well as overseas. And one of our biggest games we've had to date was over in Australia, because they go over, you know, all the sprint car racers go over there during the winter. And so, yeah, it's been phenomenal, and it continues to grow, and we're having a lot of fun. I mean, we had a Kick It tournament in Charlotte, or outside of Charlotte, with NASCAR. We don't raise near as much money with them as we do with sprint car racing. You know, it's just that's the type of community that there is there, that everybody wants to be a part of it, and they're also maybe not as scared about getting hurt out there doing the kickball tournament. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Just want to make sure that you know that we have a lot of those tournaments.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Yeah, no, it's not just World of Outlaws. I appreciate that.
All right, we'll finish up with Stan.
All right. Jeff, Dale Earnhardt Sr. used to talk about how the most important conversation for him in every race was the conversation he had with his tires, what his tires told him on a constant basis. Does this tire that you all tested today speak to you as well as any tire throughout your career has ever talked to you, and is it as equally important to you?
That must be why I struggle on these repays, Stan, because I feel like they're speaking French and I don't know French. No, I mean that's they don't, you know, and that's what I was getting at about, you know, these harder tires on these newly recently paved racetracks. You know, it's a box that we're in, and we understand why we're in it because of the durability, as I mentioned, and you know, trying to get the best performance, as well as we're carrying a lot of speed. This car's got a lot of downforce, and the track's got a lot of grip in it. And you know, you're either stuck to the racetrack or you're not stuck to the racetrack. There's no in between. So you know, I mean, I understand what you're saying. You know, to me, you can say it's the tire, you can just say it's the grip level, you can just say it, you know, through the seat of your pants of what the car is doing. It's just feeding information. It does start at the tire, because the tire and the contact to the pavement is the first thing that you're reacting to, and then it's sent up through the springs and the shocks and the whole chassis and aerodynamics and everything, and before it finally gets to you and your hands in the steering wheel and your butt in the seat. So I kind of like to talk to everything. Sometimes that's why I confuse myself in those conversations, but I never heard Dale say that, so that's interesting, but it's also true.
All right, Jeff, we appreciate the time, and